ngikhulele ngev benqumla amathafa ndihlutywa ngamev bethi ndeqeka vuke ekuseni nibuye ebusuku ngonqeni makhulu ethetha umntana onjani obuya ngexesha ngayazi nithini vele ngokuthula ndisiqume ngengubo kumengqondweni kube kukhala nje ubhithi ndizivela amagubu nami ngingatyanga buye ngolala libe likhala ithumbu xa mamele ingoma enqobe record vele kwangoku ndihluthi ingoma zami ngomhluzi yenza ingoma eyincase ndizenzela nonganibuzi nendikhuma ungaphakathi babegcina ndizoluza ndafaka inyimbo chwa every time ndisebooth ndithetha into evakalayo ingoma zami ngomhluzi yenza ingoma eyincase ndizenza njani unganibuzi nendikhuma ungaphakathi babegcina ndizoluza ndafaka inyimbo chwa every time ndisebooth ndithetha into evakalayo manye amajit ayithink baphambili ndizofika indimi iyashisa iparafini neqokobhe nemicingi nomculo uyaphila impilo zabantu ngawo lo mculo ziyatshintsha I keep it real udenza utshintsha anaxesha lokuqhayisa ngeza nebeef ubuyityani sosithembeni ngasiphi xesha kumkani nawe uyayazi ungathi ubuza abahlali angokunda kuqala ungabuza amaqala dala yabhala lenqawo fika uyanqala usaqala ufuna uqamba baselwa liqaka baselwa yitrap kodini umna ndeqala ngorepa fondini beluhlonipha chep ungatufika nje uqhela ngamunde kuthina le way noba kushusho kanye kukhwenqela ezwe ziyakhala ngathi ngqungqitswela dala zula dala nifuna le cash fika ngo-haters moshela ixesha ingoma zami ngomhluzi yenza ingoma eyincase ndizenza njani unganibuzi nendikhuma ungaphakathi babegcina ndizoluza ndafaka inyimbo chwa every time ndisebooth ndithetha into evakalayo ingoma zami ngomhluzi yenza ingoma eyincase ndizenza njani unganibuzi nendikhuma ungaphakathi babegcina ndizoluza ndafaka inyimbo chwa every time ndisebooth ndithetha into evakalayo
Yeah, that was Flash Ikumkani. Welcome to the third episode of Culture Conversations. And today I am hosting a legend in the making, a legend that is curating the culture of Lenduza music and creativity in the Eastern Cape. I'm hosting with Prince Masuku, and we apologize that we couldn't air this episode Izolo because of technical issues, but here we are bringing it to you today live at 4 p.m. So Prince Masuku has worked with the amazing Flash Ikumkani, did a lot of talent search with Unathi Mangai, and has also worked with Ulenduza, Icon Flame, Duncan and Zago. So the list is very endless. And I believe if you want some education into the creative industry and the music industry, today is your day, because he is here to preach the gospel. And actually, I want this to be unfiltered and uncensored. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Prince Masuku into our episode today. Mr. Masuku, how are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
I'm good, and when I put you on,
Yeah, Pila,
and then I think there's a lag. I think there's a lag, so make us understand.
Okay. Just receiving a bit of latency, so I'll just talk and then give it a bit of minute so that you couldn't leave exactly and then receive it back. Okay, cool. So for those who don't know you, but probably have seen your work, who is a Prince, and how would you describe actually what you do? Because now I would say you're a PR practitioner, you are a culture curator, and also you are cultivating the culture. So to someone else who doesn't know what you do, how would you define what you do and your work?
Okay. Mna ndinguPrince Masuku oqala ngowaseMonti indawo ekuthiwa kuseDoni eMonti, indawo encinci ekuthiwa kuseDoni. Kodwa ndikhulele eQuick up until I was like preteen, and then teenage years zam ndazikhulela eDoni. So Prince Masuku is someone that always liked music, that's always been listening to music, especially rap. But I started with music like Omar Kiri and all those Napese, Opera Fasi, Orlando, Orlando, Tupop, Latreko Tupop. Malaika, Ilando. So I've always been across the board. So for me, I would say that I've always been interested in Mtulo, and what I do is I like to call it as a publicist.
Yeah.
Because when I say PR, it kind of limits. Okay, well, so when you say PR, I think one-dimensional. Publicist. A publicist is more of a person that gets attached to the work, and then he's more attached to the work than he is doing the work. I think that's the major difference. Yeah, but so a publicist who attached to the work and actually pushes in all avenues and all angles, whereas a PR is more like I would say a company of people, because normally by company, whereas a PR by individual. So the publicist by individual. So I'm not consideration as the individual by publicist, even though the ends are under a company.
Yes. So most people likely when they say I got bit girl, I fell in love with music. Most of us think that the only avenue to actually fall in love with music is to actually like do music, right? And when you took it differently. So before we go into any further discussion, I'm just getting a juggle in between of this. Where did you study? Yeah, where did you get all this knowledge to actually get them go further? Because you don't just wake up and become a music artist. I don't think so.
Okay, I would say that Akuba, my information I got it from my biological father. He you can do with the internet and how the internet is going to impact the future. I think that was in 2004. I was 10 years old when he first showed me the internet, showed me how to send an email, showed me how to search lyrics, how to load a picture, how to download it. So he gave me confidence in using the internet at a very young age. So when he gave me that confidence of using the internet at a very young age, I developed my own passions along the internet. So wanted the lyrics from Eminem. I would go search the lyrics to Eminem. Then I find out Eminem coupe album. I want to listen to the album. Go call MySpace. I would go to MySpace and check it through MySpace. I want to figure out album. Then I figure out go link echaza by album yenziwe njani, yathini ngubani producer, yathini. So I'd get all those information. I think I got it. I was lucky because I got it very early. Yeah, but so when I was young, I would find out that okay, kuku producer, kukumdu marketing, kukumdu PR, kukumdu. I think at about 13, I already knew Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, for Interscope,
yeah.
There was a point in my computer in 2008. I think in 2008, I'd already listed e-folders zomculo by record labels. Kanye West usignwe Def Jam, Jay-Z under Def Jam nayo. So I'd already had that organization so kuba i-albums zisotwe njani zathini i-record label usignwe kubani and 2008 nanaphi 2016 so ndana 14 ngo-2008. So I already knew that information. Got 14 years back. Okay, there's record labels, there's whatever, there's people under marketing, there's people under done. So I would find out also about to sign good Def Jam, but Def Jam so that information I all got it from internet at a very young age. So as I grew up, I started cultivating it more in the end.
Very, very interesting. If you ask me further, very interesting state. So I believe you are working with Flash the man behind Flash's brand. Yeah, Bona, you are the one that actually plugs them into a lot of publishing deals and all of that. So the vision that we see up front, most people would probably don't know it's actually you that is behind Flash. So take me through the brand articulation of how did you go about actually you and Flash meet up and then create this sort of powerhouse to actually getting him to be nominated umzekelo SA Hip Hop Awards. So how did that journey first emerge?
Oh, okay. I met to Flash. Kabilo, question.
Yes, you can answer.
Okay. Okay. I met to Flash online, Kokala, through Facebook. Because and that's one of the posts I came and this bonus I keep post. I don't know why or how about Facebook I can't physically post this like. But I had already working with those Zakwe and Duncan, and I had already been posting a lot of stuff with all Nati pictures and in Jada with Ndabangul and the trip footwear launch. So now on my side, I assumed we are born in the so I contacted him and I talked about when he was about to release a car and stuff like that. I asked him about come look the PR or anything like that. Then so I call up relationship yethu kuba sisipane kunye kuba ndimbuze ngento ye-PR about iqhawe then saqala usipana apho mna from my assumption is that kuba bebona into endizenza so bendiye ngala confidence kancinci uba okay at least he knows what I'm gonna do yabo. But from a conversation as conversation ingathi bengaziboni naye yabo so andiyazi ke asikayixoxa incam le asikayidiscuss incam. But then sazodibana after 3 months sesispan like abanye 2 or 3 months I'm not sure but it was more than 4 weeks inyanga sesispan sizodibana face to face then sidiscuss ba sispana njani to future nento senze njani. So brand articulation how do you amplify brand yakhe specifically then like go brand ka Flash is that kuba it already had a following yabo bisene base yokuba kukho abantu so ngoku when there's already people watching whatever is happening it's all just about implementing stuff because people you want talkability. That's the main thing. You don't really care about positive or negative. You want someone to be discussed. You want someone to say something. So you when you articulate a brand, you just state something that will form an opinion on someone who's watching. And it must be impactful that they must voice their opinion. So you must create something around ukwenza ingoma that okuba azakhona umuntu uzokhomenta ngayo ngenxa usenza lento ngenxa besenza ingoma. It could be various things ozenzayo like snippets intoni but you just creating talkability. So brand articulation is all about creating talkability, mentions intoni ukwazi abantu bathethe ngawe because the worst thing you could ever have is okuba kuthuleke. So your brand is not being articulated. So you don't articulate your brand yourself. As I uzenzele ukuba makuthethe wena ukuba mna nenze into ethile mna nenze into ethile uzama ufumana i-advocates so kuba noba laa mntu uzoadvocate ukuba iwork laa nto ayenzileyo that really doesn't matter as long as sisathi ifowuni yakhe athi uPrince Masuku iwork la interview yakhe yabo as long as okwenza loo nto athatha la xesha lakhe aposte loo nto you have already impacted because omnye umuntu play interview work ngubani uPrince Masuku ngumntu upload ebesenza ntoni yabo exposile especially in modern day and age because social media everyone knows everyone has an opinion. So, and everyone knows that the
Yeah.
opinion is not the final truth. Yeah, but so bafuna uyozijongela le nto uyoconfirma le nto ithethayo kwi-social media. Yeah, but so
Yes.
and okay, sure.
Oh, okay. I lost you a bit over there. Still on the brand articulation. Lenduza
I don't know,
politics.
ndiphendulile right.
Yes, uvakele uvakele kakhulu, because most people, you know,
Nick.
yeah, yes, undiphendule kahle,
The
bra.
process.
Yeah, undiphendule kahle. So I'm just saying, uba, most people, when they are in the process of creating a brand, they think uba umzekelo, only a positive feedback creates their particular brand. For example, I think a most famous phrase in PR is that there is no ever bad publicity. Yeah, so I think with what you've just said, would spark some ideas into some people.
Nick.
Yeah, yes. Hi. Can you hear me on your side? Can you hear me on your side? Prince, are you still there?
Andikho sure noba iyarikhoda ke laa micala uba uyavakala, but yami network ithi 110 out of 10.
Yeah,
So,
also mine is cool. I think we have Vagala, bro.
I don't know, ndingimiss. Is number 10, but I can't feed anything. And funny ndoku. Okay.
Flip. I'm not sure. Can you please?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me again? Okay. I think to move on to the next topic, because you've said so much about different articulation. I want, because you're a very active person, especially for the music industry of the Eastern Cape. I actually wanted to pick your brain as to what do you think currently so far about the state of Eastern Cape creative industry, including all these small towns that are emerging over to actually create a havoc. If I use the word, to create a havoc into the industry. What is your take on the current state of Eastern Cape creative industry?
I think artists zilinde kakhulu from outside sources ukuba zibenzele something. They expect help from government, then they expect help from fans or whatever they want to call them, but from the general public. Then baphinde ba expect help from corporates. None of that is happening. Yabo akhona enye izokwenzeka kezo zontathu izinto abazifunayo. They should just do it themselves. Vukuzenzele ayibeka simple Thabo Mbeki yabo. Bakuba umuntu makavuke azenzele. Everyone else is going to catch on yabo. Uba uqale into everyone's going to latch on. Like example le umbono wami high school toss yenzile.
Yes.
No one was latching on. Okuba let's do this. Let's do this. They latched on because we did the first school and they saw the reaction as Yenzai. Then at Pisho High, they even saw the reaction as Pisho High by Binjan. We shut down the school basically. Then from then on, okay, this is something that's moving.
Are you still with me? I think I've lost him a bit over there. Network is a bit bad. Yeah, I think his network is actually a bit bad. Currently losing Prince a bit over there, but it's back. Yes, yes, I was losing you a bit, but you are back now.
Nami ithi network ibad but ithi 4G nje apha efonini iyatsho ngokuba ibad.
I
Usenzise
know.
khona?
Yeah, Ukon.
Okay. I'm saying is that Okuba, we started something and we impacted SA, regardless of how people might see it or stuff like that. Okuba yenza kanjani. But
Yeah.
we started something because siziqalele.
Yes.
Yabo. So i-creatives zase-Eastern Cape mazingajongi ki-corporates, mazingajongi kileno ki-social media, i-fans uba mazithini, mazingajongi kileno ki-government. They
Yeah.
should take money out of their pocket and start something. I'm not saying ukuba wonke umuntu unemali sinemali okanye sinentoni, but there are ways to do stuff and there are ways to do things. They just need to do what they say they are, creatives, but create something from nothing, because the word creative is to take nothing and produce something. Yeah, but so to say that ukuba balinde something develop something and they will deliver. So I would say the state of Eastern Cape industry is creatives. State there's no one else that's going to help. There's no one else that's going to let you on unless when you're doing something. Now give results or anything. For example, give film. Nobody takes a film without a pilot.
Yeah.
To see le nto obuyibhalile okanye siscript usibhalileyo sizohamba njani okanye ishow izofila njani, how is it, whatever you're doing, there must be a pilot. And kuyafuneka abantu badevelop ii-pilots zabo. I'm not saying every pilot is going to be successful, not yonke ishow ya-Irish TV, but create something, create a pilot and make sure that you put in everything so that move. Uyenze le nto uthi you-creative, ungarely on something to create something. You must take nothing and create something.
Yes. To Lendoza, before we cover up our conversation. I want to raise a bit of controversy, especially from my point of view. Yeah, but I want to raise a bit of controversy in regards to an incident that happened. I don't know if I should call it an incident, but so at the awards that were taking place, I remember voting, and Flash was leading, like skyrocketing. We votings, and when I checked out the awards, he didn't win, right? At which left me stunned, and I'm sure even a couple of people that are like great supporters of Flash's work were stunned, because this was one of the artists that was leading on that best remix, Lenduza, on that best remix nomination. So how did you guys receive that? Like, what's your whole take on it? You guys feel like, okay, you've been stopped on that situation. How did you all take it?
We didn't take it well, losing the award, because obviously when you're leading online, you have some expectation, but there's a chance you could take it, But I listened to the masterclass podcast by Rashid. He kind of explained everything. But you can't give the power to the fans, because the fans is of their favorite, as of the best. So as a committee, 40% general public, 60% uthathwa from votes zelento the officials the SA Hip Hop Awards. So bona bathi ukuba when there's a lock between bona phaki awards bamayinikwwe bani, then they consider votes as a general public, because there must be authenticity, because once you give power to the fans, uRisa bezoyithatha mos la lento la artist of the decade.
Yes.
Whereas to be honest is non-deserving, but because ebelithisha ngevotes ebezoyithatha. So if we give the power to the fans, so long as we distort history, yeah, but I'm not saying that the best song won, and I'm happy. I believe that Umshozi remix was the best remix of last year, considered for the awards. As long as I'm going to compete against Umshozi, I don't understand why I'm ketang but I understand when they have a headlock, then they consider the public vote. But as long as because they have 60% of the power, yeah, well, they have majority. So bakhethe umshimane and yeah,
still speaking about still on this vibration of the awards, ne? Also just picking your brain right now. I saw a post that you actually made, right? Online about the recording industry awards, which is Ilenduza Grammys, and you felt a bit of I don't know if I interpreted that well, but somehow you felt that the awards were losing some plot into more than being they kind of stopping being about the music now, but mostly being about like a huge PR stunt where okay, this is who we can plug this year. That's how I received it. So where was your mind at? Where's your mind at about some of the incidents or some of the things that took place this past weekend at the Grammys?
Okay, I'll first. I have a love-hate relationship with the Grammys. Yeah, well, specifically the Grammys. But I'll tell you what I love about them. I love the fact that they don't take hype. They don't go with hype just because you pop in the streets or Lil Babe or Da Baby and all that. Just because you're hot on the streets doesn't mean that you're award deserving artist. First, prove yourself. I like that because all the best hip hop album award nominees, the old niggas over 30. People that have been in the game for like 10 years. So I like that. I like that. But there's a problem with them not being the culture, especially hip hop. Yeah, they're not people that understand what's going on or understand what's the best music. Yeah, but I don't know the criteria of how they choose or whatever. But I don't feel like Tyler's album ever or any Tyler album deserves a Grammy. Yeah, there was Nas, J. Cole, Drake, Donda in that line. Yala Grammys, yeah, and then the big one also in the elephant in the room, like a Black Coffee.
Yes.
I have no real respect for ODJ. Yeah, but ODJ killed music because in the let's say in the I don't want to name a place that's too far back in the Buisa back history, but at some point there was no DJs and DJs in the recent. Yeah, it's very recent because that equipment is very recent. So DJs took, imagine DJ odlala 1 hour set, udlala ingoma ezinoba eziyi-60. Yabo, a clean set, udlala ingoma eziyi-60. Imagine how many artists he's playing on those 1 hour set. Those could have been performances going straight to the artist. Now, event promoters, event organizers don't want to pay artists, that individual artists, that amount of money. So what do? They book a DJ. The DJ is going to play the music of the artist that worked to go to studio, that worked to go to DJ yona khange yenze nix. Khange iphatha to studio time, khange ibhatale ntoni, khange ibhatale ntoni. Into eyazileyo qha yona kufumana i-DJ pack, iyomixa laa nto. Then all of a sudden ngokuyona ibhatale 30,000 for kube iyodlala umculo womnye umntu. That person is not eating ngenxa DJ. Okay. So I have that problem with DJ. So to say I respect to Clofiana because he actually does produce umculo, the element of him I respected. But the DJing part, I don't like the fact that we're gonna glorify DJs. Yeah, got DJs ruined music for everyone. So when a DJ wins a Grammy, it's a good thing. It's actually the worst thing ever for a DJ to win a Grammy. Umuntu ofika odlala umculo wabanye abantu, someone that doesn't play specifically their own music, goes to glorify alone. It's the best thing that ever happened in the world. No, it's not. Kofi, yes, does it deserve the Grammy or not? The issue, I'm not really the Grammy thing. It was definitely going to win a Grammy. He was going to win a Grammy at some point in his career. He does deserve a Grammy for his illustrious career, but his illustrious career is that of a DJ, which is something I don't really respect. Yeah, well, it's something that God can get me in fire, but it's something that's real. It's real that about DJ ruined music, and if someone has an opinion against that, how do they save music? Basave music ngodlala umculo wabanye abantu, whereas ngalamntu perform live, because there were live performances. Live performances but replaced with DJ. So that's what I have with the issue of Kofi winning a Grammy. That we're glorifying what DJ.
You actually make very interesting points, and like from there, with those interesting points, I believe at the end of the day, it's your opinion, and someone else has their opinion to make. And at the end of the day, we see things differently. So before I close this down, before I shut this down, what can we expect from you? What's the latest work that you're actually pushing on right now? And what can we look forward to in 2022 when it comes to Masuku as a publicist?
Okay, I'm working on my website currently. Maybe it's done now than anything. I'm expecting the message from the guy any minute now. So
Yes.
There's the website coming out. Abantu banga expected to see a new price list and a new working method, and just my achievements and things I've done on the website. It's going to be available. It's going to be princemasuku.com, but
Yes.
you can check that out later. We are always available soon. Then what's happening is that I'm going to be working with Unaleti Tina, trying to push her also. Then Flash, I'm going to be working with him. He's working on Umbono Wam EP, so we're gonna planning a hectic rollout, something that's gonna it samples the USA, something that's done in USA. I'm not gonna say that it's something new as Yenzai, but it's done in USA, but it's never been done up in USA. So I'm gonna push something like that, and go whoever the way we're gonna do it, we're gonna see about Sibonanjan, but the rollout is over heavy. Then there's another artist, Utem Mbokazi. I'm working with pushing a house single, piano, something like that. Gonna be pushing it on radio and stuff like that. I really have faith in the single. It's called Ishwa Zilam. And then maybe a few deals I'm working on, like the one SAPC one, trying to get one for Netflix and stuff like that. It's just I'm going to call it normal stuff, but all the other stuff here, radio, TV, and all that, going to try and push that,
Otherwise, thank you so much, bro, for actually agreeing to do this episode with me. I think a lot of people that were watching learned a lot from what you said, and no controversial stuff at all, but what you said mostly are your opinions, and so it's either up to someone if they decide to take it or not. But I'd like to say thank you so much. A great wonderful Lenduza journey to you as you're about to Lenduza to go on and do some amazing stuff in 2022. And thank you so much. I'm gonna play out with the song that I opened with, Inclusive, once again, just to emphasize it, the importance of how great this song did. One of Eastern Cape and how we got snapped as Eastern Cape. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to Culture Conversations, bro.
Okay, and did you see app we did for Flash?
I haven't seen the app yet. I just saw your post. The app out yet?
Yes, it's out. We're distributing it through WhatsApp. It's already viewed by 12 people in America. I think Los Angeles only. 12 people in Los Angeles, Dallas, and stuff like that. So it's moving. In South Africa, the top country, the top city that's viewing it is PE apparently, and I'm in PE. I don't know how, but it's my first time in PE, so I don't know why PE land. Then it's Cape Town, Durban,
Yes.
I think Johannesburg, then East London. But Amanda are really accepting the app, and we can see the analytics. App.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Please, Lenduza, share it with me, and I'll share it with my people, and that's how the word goes. Yeah, boy, and we all win at the end of the day. Thank you so
For
much.
sure. Thank you.
Hey guys, so thank you for tuning in. That was Prince Masuku that I had on Culture Conversations episode 3. I know you guys were expecting Lenduza Generations actor this week, but we had a bit of technical Lenduza things that our guest Lenduza Putumanipan couldn't make it. But that session is actually going to be extended. I'll drop you the date, but next week I have Ulenduza, a great actress, a great friend of mine. Her name is Ushonisani Masuta. So I'm sure you've seen her on Bollywood. I'm sure you've seen her on Landuza Hollywood movies. You've seen her on Mubango. You've seen her on Miss Tembi. So you've seen her on a lot of shows on TV. And I'll be talking with her as a thespian. And so if you don't know what a thespian is, that's your task about your Google what a thespian is. But next week I'm chilling with Ushonisani Masuta, a very great South African actress. And yeah, so I'm gonna play out with the Flash Umhluzi just to emphasize